Hi there team, Coach Alexa here. Just continuing my video series on sleep, and today I wanted to talk about bedtime routines. So we're often, when we're little, put into a kind of bedtime routine scenario by our parents, because it's a really good way of getting kids gradually ready for bed mentally and physically, and improving the amount of sleep that they get. Somehow we kind of forget that it's still really useful even when we're grown-ups. So we are creatures of habit. We're not suddenly completely different to what we were like and what worked as children when we're adults, and we forget how useful that bedtime routine can be to sleep hours and also sleep quality, which are both hugely useful for our mental and physical well-being and performance in things like running and sport. So a few different aspects that I'm going to talk through. The first of which is having a consistent time that you aim for to go to bed, kind of regardless of everything else that's going on, is really useful. Part of this is around sort of habit creation. As I said, we are creatures of habit, and if we make that habit consistent enough, we will just naturally stick to it and train our brain that this is the time that we go to bed, and therefore it's more likely to fall asleep more quickly. The other thing to think about is maybe planning out the hour or two before you go to bed and focusing on physically and mentally calmer activities. So that might be something that is kind of fun but not too irritating or antagonistic or filled with horror on television. It might be reading a book, listening to some chilled out music, chatting to somebody that you live with or somebody on the phone. Just sort of relaxing, calming activities that get that brain just chilling out a little bit. Anything too hectic mentally that's really sort of overstimulating or has to get you thinking really hard is going to be kind of building the brain up activity wise, and actually we want to be calming it down a little bit before we go to bed. And it's similar physically as to why training physically, going out for running or doing any other sports training too late in the evenings can disrupt your sleep. We're kind of on the go, we've raised our heart rate and energized our body and our nervous system, and we've also raised our core body temperature. And actually, in order to get to a sleep state, we want our core body temperature to be dropping slightly as we get sleepy and then fall to sleep. So training late in the evenings can sometimes disrupt your sleep pattern as well. So thinking about physically and mentally becoming gradually more restful in the hour or two before bed. Also worth just quickly referencing back to my last video, watching your screen time, particularly for these blue light levels. So blue light acts on our brain in a similar way to sunlight. It keeps us awake for longer. It stimulates the production of more of the awake hormone and less of the production of the sleep hormone. So if we can reduce the amount of blue light we get from our screens, reduce the screen time, and also as the daylight hours get longer into the summer, and we're getting towards mid-June and it's still quite bright outside at 9 o'clock, maybe if you want to, drawing the curtains, just kind of reducing that daylight light levels a little bit will allow us to have those sleep hormones starting to increase a bit more, meaning we'll get to sleep a little bit quicker when our head goes down. So having a little bit of a kind of routine to these activities can also help, in the same way that with a toddler kind of sets expectations. We go and get undressed, we have a bath, we clean our teeth, we get read a story, we go to bed, whatever it might be. And part of that is those calming activities, but part of that is part of the process of telling the brain and the body, right, these are the steps we're going through, at the end of which we're going to sleep. So it makes it more likely, when it knows you've kind of trained it, you've created this habit that we do A, B, C and D, and then we go to sleep, we're more likely to be able to get to sleep more quickly. So having your own bedtime routine and sticking to that and making the effort to make that a positive and useful habit can be really useful. So in previous videos I've mentioned that my phone goes on a shelf after dinner somewhere around 7 o'clock, so I don't look at that later. There might be a little bit of a sit out in the garden or maybe watching something on television. Normally that all comes to a stop at around 9 o'clock. I do, unless there's something particularly interesting on post-watershed. I then just do a little bit of sort of a pot around the house, put away a bit of washing, put a few things in the dishwasher, whatever it might be, let the dog out for her bedtime wee. it's then, bathroom, shower, or just a face wash and a teeth clean, depending on what training I've done that day and when it was. A little bit of writing in my diary, reflecting on the day. I keep a to-do list, or a bit of paper for to-do items next to my bed, so that I'm not kind of got things in my brain worrying me, going round and round, annoying me. I can just park them that evening and then know that I'm not going to forget about them the following morning. I read a book for a little while. By that point, somewhere between 10 and 10:30, the eyes are going, turn the light off, and I fall asleep. Just an example, but an example about how you can kind of plan and structure that final couple of hours before bed, prioritise the right activities, but also create that routine that's consistent in both its steps and its timing. Going to really, really help the sleep quantity and quality that you achieve. Hope that's useful.